got the sound effects in the game for the first time and we put the chain gun in there, I was on the floor laughing so hard. It was just like, oh my God, this is exactly it. That's the game. We're running with it.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Hi, I'm John Romero, and I'm a game designer and programmer, and I co-founded id Software and was behind Doom, Wolfenstein, and Quake. This one day in 1979, my brother and my friend came over on their bikes, and they're like, you won't believe it, we found a place where we can play games for free. Like, it didn't cost a quarter. And I'm like, let's go there right now. So I followed them into the computer lab at Sierra College in Rocklin, California, and they got on a computer and they started playing like Hunt the Wumpus. Then I saw Adventure, you know, Colossal Cave Adventure, and I was like, holy crap, that's the best game I've seen, you know, on these computers. And so that made me, at that point, want to be able to make games, you know, because like that was attainable. Like the stuff in the arcade was the aliens made those games. Who knows how those were made, but this was a thing that I could see could be done. Like it's just putting words on the screen. That's all I needed to know how to do. But eventually in 1982, we got an Apple II Plus at the house and I was done going outside. It was over. I then spent all of my time learning how to program, like all of it. But it took a lot of work, a lot of just sitting there and failing and winning and failing and failing and winning, you know, to keep on creeping up in understanding of how to program and how to make things and trying to push yourself to do better than before. So that's what I did. I just did it because of games. I just learned how to code because I wanted to make games. You can see our daughter Avalon, basically, she had to write a thing for school where she's talking about her parents, and so five best things about my family. My mom's a game designer. My stepdad made a game called Doom. Doom is a good game. Super cute. So id Software was founded by 4 people, and that was me, John Carmack, the lead programmer, Adrian Carmack, the artist, the only artist that we had, and then Tom Hall, who was a creative director / game designer. And so we'd made a couple shooters before we made Wolfenstein, and those shooters were not visceral. Even though in Hover Tank you were shooting out of a tank, it just didn't knock people down like a tank really would. So when we did Wolfenstein, and you're basically like sitting there on the chain gun, filling this guy up with bullets, and he's sitting there like dancing and blood is flying out of him. That was just like, okay, now we're talking. No one's seen this before. Like I had not seen a game like that before. So we knew we were onto something really cool, but Doom is where it was kind of cemented. So in that January when we came up with the idea, it was insane, but we basically put out a press release before we even started programming the game. And the press release basically said Doom was going to be the best game on the planet Earth. That's crazy, like why would you ever do that nowadays, but we did it. And we had to back it up, and we actually did a good job trying to nail every one of the bullet points on that press release. And really like, that game defines so many things about what a shooter is, especially with modding and being open and letting people modify your game. The distribution model that we had, which was shareware, you know, when it came out, it was basically the greatest game people had played, and it was for free. Like, when did that ever happen? So for us, it was like, well, how do we get in the store? How do we get Doom in the store with a shareware game we're giving away for free? What do we do? So the idea was that the title screen of Doom says suggested retail price $9 on it. And then we told the companies that were already in the stores, if you put Doom in the store, in a box on the shelf, you just keep all the money. We don't want any of it. Just put it in a box and sell it. Nutty, except that's what really, really worked. It was everywhere. In fact, if you went into a CompUSA back then in 1994, you would see 10 different boxes of Doom and think they're all different games, but they're all the same shareware game. And there's Doom, more Doom. Like they're trying to make the best box they could to get people to buy it because these are the same things, right? And then over here we have Jason Height's Icons of Doom sculpture that he had made. It's the last level of Doom 2, and my head is hidden up underneath it. Because my head in the game is behind his brain. When you come into the room, you hear this evil demon voice, and basically if you reverse it and listen to it, it says, "To win the game, you must kill me, John Romero, because I'm back there." I didn't do it on purpose. It was a total joke. Like, the artists were playing a joke on me, sticking my head back there. And I found out, because I'm programming the sound effects into the game, and I'm going back there so I can just shoot the dot that is behind there that ends the game. And when I went back there, I saw that they replaced the dot with my head on a stake. And I'm like, oh, they thought the game was gonna come out, and they played a trick on me because it was close to the game getting done. So when I found that out, I'm like, I need to put something in the game that lets them know that I know what they did.
To win the game, you must kill me, John Romero.
And so everybody knew what happened, and they found out that I knew what they did, and it was just, well, leave it in there, it's awesome. You know, to top Doom, we weren't really worried about it, because at the time we just felt invincible. So it was like, now we're making Quake, we know it's gonna be better than Doom. It was really just, what is it going to be? You know, how fast is this engine gonna go, and what can we do with it? John Carmack and American McGee really loved 9-Inch Nails, and we found out that they basically loved Doom, and they used to deathmatch on their tour bus. They had 4 computers all set up, and they were fans. So we basically got together and decided that they would do the sound effects and music for Quake. They were really great. I mean, they're still unlike any other soundtrack, you know, in a game, because it was kind of like, we don't really want, you know, songs, we want feelings, you know. So it was very ambient. It was a totally ambient, disturbing soundtrack. So the screams in Quake are all Trent Reznor screaming and stuff. It's really cool. Nobody really worked well at that time. It was a real stress that it took a year to get the engine made before we could actually make the game at the frame rate and the scale that we wanted it to. The focus was on making the best technology in the world, but not necessarily the best game design in the world like we had done before. So I knew that in November of '95 that the decision to make the game the way we were making it was the end of the company for me. So for me, I'm like, I gotta finish this game, and then I'm gonna go. And it came to a head. They wanted me to go as well. So that's basically what happened, and then half the company left within 6 months. Half of it dumped out. It was because it was such a stressful game to make. It just kind of cracked the company in half. No, when I leave the company, it was done, over. So actually all the work I did on Quake, I got no money for Quake at all. I left right after Quake, so I got no money from Quake at all. So I made that whole game and made nothing from it. If I can keep making games, I'm happy. I'm not here trying to make, you know, all the money. So to me, Quake is I still think, you know, we turned out something that was a really great game. It was the beginning of internet gaming, really, deathmatch and stuff over the internet for the first time. And it just is, again, I think a lot of things converged. Full 3D, and the level design in the game is just really, like, I think it defined the pinnacle of abstract level design, basically. Since Quake came out, I don't think I've seen a game that has that kind of level design in it. And we had just like a feeling in the game that we'd never put in a previous game. Like, each game feels different. And that was like important to me as an artist to not do the same thing again. You know, like, I've always felt like an artist anyway, making games. Not that I was trying to make it art, I was trying to make fun games. Like, I was just trying to make stuff that I really like to play.